my first big piece I had ever done. Like because I had just started to like do it again. And my boss had just asked me like, "Do you think you can paint this?" I was like, "I don't know, I'll try." So it was on a big ass 4 foot by 2 foot canvas, and it was Gotham City, and it glows in the dark, and it looked amazing. I impressed myself. I was like, "Holy shit, this turned out really good." I was like, "Wow." But let me show you. Oh my god, I was hella proud of it. It's on my Instagram, on my photography Instagram.
Dude, I haven't been on Instagram in a while.
Hey, shout out my photography Instagram.
I can link it if you'd like in the podcast. Yeah, just send me a link and then I'll copy and paste.
Yes. It'll be in the screenshot I send you of it. Yeah, oh my god, that shit. I was so proud of that. But then yeah, I did a painting for Jeremy and his girlfriend. Like his girlfriend hit me up to do like a 2-year anniversary gift for them. And I painted this big old thing and she gave it to him on their anniversary.
Dude.
Yeah. And I've sold like other smaller paintings from my friends and stuff. And yeah, I've been about that shit, you know?
Dude,
wait, are we podcasting right now?
Yeah, we are podcasting. Sorry, I left. I'm looking for something. Oh, I found it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Dude. Okay, hold on. I was listening the whole time. I was just looking around the room. Did you find the painting so you could show me?
Yes. Oh, I just found it. Perfect. Okay, beautiful. I'm just gonna screenshot it, and then I'll send it to you. Okay, sent. But no, yeah, I like glows in the and everything, and like, yeah, I was like, damn, I didn't know I could paint like that. And then I've been like, yeah, doing a bunch of stuff since, and yeah, it's been really cool. So yeah,
I was hanging out with Justin.
Oh, he's fucking funny, dude.
He seems like he's pretty cool.
He's so chill. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's so funny with the baby too, with Carson. He's just such a dad. like with Carson.
He really owns
like
it.
I have this one video of him, Carson was sitting on Justin's lap, facing Justin, and Justin pulled his shirt, Carson's shirt, up over Carson's face, so where his arms were pinned down, and it was just the circle around his face, and it pushed his face back, and Carson was laughing, and he's just such a dad. Justin will squish his face and be like, "Hey, granny face." He's just such a dad. He's such a goof. It's hilarious.
I love it.
But they also go on walks to go look at the cows and stuff, and they go to the park all the time, and it's they're just so precious, and
and you know that he's gonna eventually teach them some self-defense. Yeah.
Justin and Carson will be doing something cute together, and I'll go up to Brittany, and I'm like, they're so cute. She's like, I know, I just love watching them. I'm like, it's so cute. Love their little family. And Brittany's pregnant as fuck. She's
dude, how far is she?
Out there. Baby's due July 12th, and it's almost May.
Dude, Brianna, this is so good.
What?
This is so fucking good.
And it glows in the dark.
Damn, girl! Wow!
In the water and everything glows in the dark.
Wow! Damn, Brianna! What do you? I'll pay for one. What do you want? You want $250? I'll give you one. I'll give you that for one of these.
One of my friends wanted a cityscape of San Francisco. I still need to do that one for her. But no, yeah. So the way I do it is because I'm not good at just making up paintings, but I have somebody whoever if I have people look up the paintings that they want or go on Pinterest for ideas, and I'll and give me 4 or 5 options or whatever, and I pick the one that I think I can best attain in my style of painting, the one that I think that I can do the best, and we agree on a picture, and I pretty much just replicate that painting on whatever size canvas to the best of my ability, you know what I mean? And so I've done a flamingo, I did this tropical sky palm tree scene, I did this cactus for my friend, I did a Harry Potter painting thing, I did these pop art red bite lip thingy lip looking one, I've done a few.
Dude, let me download Instagram real quick so I can look through and goo and gaw over here. That's some of your stuff, man.
There's a couple paintings on my Instagram, on my photo Instagram. It's mostly my photos, but there's a few gems on there. Oh yeah, my tropical scene that I did Wait, are you watch? I'll send you this picture too. I'll show you. I can show you on here, but
Nice.
but that one I'll send it to you too.
Very Instagrammable, that one.
Thank you. I'm trying to turn my Instagram into like a professional, actual Instagram, but I'm
Man,
waiting
all
to
right.
finish
See how it goes.
my web. I want to finish my website so I can attach my website and my name to it. My name
Do you
is
do like
nowhere on my
Squarespace?
photography page yet because I'm just posting my stuff on there. But everyone keeps telling me to like put watermarks on my photos and stuff like that because they're really good. And I'm like, I know they're good. And they're like, dude, people will steal these photos. You literally need to put watermarks on these. I was like, okay. I'm like, thank you.
No,
so
for
I
reals,
really
that
want to
cityscape,
finish
dude,
it
that's the kind of
together,
thing that I would expect to search and then like pop up and then rip off and use. So
right?
I would definitely put some watermarks or something on it.
Wait, on which one
Eventually.
you say? Which one?
On the Gotham one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, like I really yeah, I like that one a lot. Yeah, see, like that picture. If you look up, if you Google image Gotham City, that picture comes up in Google Images, and it's just I just based it off the picture. Like I literally looked at my phone to paint that. Like that's what I do for most of the paintings. I just look at my phone and then like then make it and then repaint it on canvas.
Let me look it up actually.
But
Dude,
I could
either
totally
way, though.
paint something. I could paint you whatever.
Dude, okay, I was gonna actually show you this too. Hold on. Let me turn this camera on. Dude, I whittled this.
Oh yay! Oh, did you make a little car?
Yeah, I whittled that.
Nice.
I'm gonna send that to Sammy. I just finished it yesterday.
Oh my god, I love it. I got really bored during pandemic, and I like I don't know if you saw it on my Snap story one day, but I ate a popsicle one day, and I was at peak boredom that I've ever been in my life, and I saw an X-Acto knife in front of me on my desk. Picked up my X-Acto knife and started carving this shit, and I made like this little poker thingy that had like a really tiny little red like heart on it, and then I was like, I'm gonna paint it, and I painted it with nail polish, and I made it this whole cute little thingy, and I used it as a poker to like clean out my bowls when I smoke.
Nice.
And I was like, wow, I just whittled this little poker out of a fucking popsicle stick because I'm so bored right now. I was like, this is what pandemic does, man.
Dude, I think what I did because of pandemic is I bought a model size Lego Statue of Liberty, and I spent like 3 hours and just focused and did it.
Yes.
It was so therapeutic, man.
Puzzle. I did a 1,000-piece puzzle over pandemic.
Yeah, it's like fun. Surprisingly, when you finish it, there's a lot of euphoria that goes over you, man. It's like hell yeah. Yeah,
I like put it. My housemate helped me put it on a thing. Like I have it. It's in the garage. It's like on this like plexiglass clear thingy, and it's like glued on there, so I could hang it up on the wall. Yeah. It's like an old looking world map looking thing.
Dude, when I was I took a 3D design class a long time ago, and the goal was to find scrap and make it trash essentially, and then make that into a model, or like use crazy glue or whatever, and then put it all together. And what I did is I found light bulbs and like old wire parts, and then I built a boot, and it actually looks exactly like the sketch that I drew beforehand to plan it, and it's really cool. My parents have it at their place. Yeah,
I love it. That's awesome.
I wish I had a picture of it. I don't. Otherwise, I'm just talking about it. But
I love it. Did you make that in college?
Yeah, I made that for 3 years.
College art classes were so fun. I remember the one art class I actually got to take before I stopped going to college. It was just it was a color and design class, and we did this project. We did like the egg drop project where you have to like make some kind of contraption out of like cardboard or whatever. Fun. And drop it off like a 2-story building and try to like see if your egg can survive. And like mine had like the coolest design in the whole class, like, and it was like really cool. It was like this like little rocket. I made a little rocket out of cardboard, and I had like my egg in there, and it almost survived. It was the closest one to completely surviving. I had one crack in mine, but I was like, it was so good. I was like, okay. Like I love fun little projects like that.
Exactly.
And it turned out just like my sketch. I was like,
dude, do you know William Osman?
No.
Okay, he's a YouTuber, and he has a series where he just finds other YouTubers, and then they do an egg drop challenge together. And the challenge is you go to the Dollar Tree and you get $3 to spend, and then you have to make a device that will the egg inside will survive the drop off of a roof or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So
Love it.
yeah.
It's a cool, really cool project, dude, because the amount of things you can
Mm-hmm.
come up with is so crazy.
Yeah.
We had our requirements where like it had to like the design had to display texture, and
Mm.
the only material that can be seen on the outside is cardboard. So like not like, and the only thing you could use to
Okay.
adhere was hot glue. So and like
Okay.
but you couldn't see hot glue strings or hot glue on the outside though. Like you could only see
Okay.
cardboard on the outside, but your design had to have some kind of texture element. So you had to make the somehow cut or affect or do something to the cardboard to make it look textured in some way.
Dude.
And mine turned out really cool. I like cut out little V's up and down everywhere on the cardboard to make it look furry, so you could
Mm.
like pet it and it was like furry. That's
Mm.
cool.
Mm. That's really cool.
I like shit like that. I
Yeah,
want to do
dude.
design classes again. Design classes in college are fun.
Yeah, they are. They are. Dude, Piper and I took a film class together. That was really fun. Film history.
College just has cool options. That's what I really liked about SF, because being in SF they had a bunch of really cool queer classes,
Oh.
and like they have, and that's the only college in the country
What is a
actually
queer
that has queer
class?
studies. No, that queer studies is a major at San
Yeah, I
Francisco.
know.
The only
What did you
college.
do in it? Because I never took any of
Um,
those.
so I never got to take any of the classes, but I wanted to. But
Uh-huh.
like so they have different ones, like they have like like well I think most colleges have classes like they have a sex and relationships class,
Mm.
like a queer politics class, like a trans politics class, like like or like like all kinds of any kind of queer anything type of class.
Dude, do you want to draw from the bowl or do you want to just talk about transgenderism?
Yo, I'm down to talk about some transgenderism for a minute
Okay.
and then let's talk.
Okay.
But no, oh my gosh, all this, so wait, Trump, he outlawed the trans military ban, right?
Yes.
But Biden reversed that yet?
I think so. I think he did all those on the first day,
Oh,
which is kind of expected, you know.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah. But
That was kind of wacky though. But that whole thing, I don't know why
oh,
that
that
was like a thing
aggravated the
that
crap out of me. Like people
yeah.
who are serving in the military currently were told you're no longer serving.
Yeah.
Like what
Yeah,
the
that's
heck?
ridiculous.
No.
It's
Like
ridiculous.
it's like you're telling people who want to willingly put their lives on the line for our country that no, you're not allowed to because you want to change your gender.
Yeah. Like
No.
the military supports so many different medical procedures and it's not like
Yeah,
it's really that much money at the end of the day.
yeah,
How many
yeah.
trans people
Compared to
go
the
into the
billions and
military?
billions that
You
go
know what I
into the
mean?
military of
Yeah.
unnecessary money.
Right. And
Like,
it's
come
not
on.
we're talking about a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of people. So like, bro, it's not
Yeah, like
really
it's not like thousands of
everyone knows
people
that
are
you
doing
use
this.
this
It's
as
a
a
very
token.
small amount of
Right.
people who would do that
Exactly.
anyways. You
And
know what I
it's
mean?
crazy because it's like that is a crazy thing to do. And
Mhm.
like Donald Trump,
Face
you
must
know,
not
I don't think that he was as crazy as he was made out to be, but I feel like he was definitely crazy though. That's for sure.
on certain
You know?
subjects, yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
for sure.
It's like, bro, you did not have to do that. Everyone knows that that was a token thing to do, and it
Yeah.
shits on a bunch of people for no reason.
And still I can't believe the like the whole conversation with like the trans kids in bathrooms and stuff is still such a huge thing in so many states. Some states have made laws about it, but other states it's still
Yeah.
like outlawed and like kids still can't go. But like, dude, like how messed up
Yeah.
is that? Like to like a fully
Well,
transitioned
I guess we should probably define what our beliefs are on transgenderism first, and then we can talk about how we think that they affect the world and why they
yeah.
kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
How would you like me to say it first, or would you like to go
Yeah,
first?
you start the question.
Okay, so every support for someone who's 18 and older, I fully support someone deciding how they want to live their life.
Mhm.
If they say this is how it's working in their life, then I am not a person that can say that it's not working the way that they're saying it is. As far as so absolutely 18 up, do whatever you want. I fully support you and no problem. But if we're talking about under 18, now I'm like, okay, well now we have an issue that's like I can't be as free with my statements as I want to be with someone who's 18 and up. So I would say 16 to 17. Okay, I'm down for this one. I'm down for 16 to 17. I still am kind of like iffy about it, but like okay, you know, some people know themselves really well at 16 and 17. Other people don't. It's a case by case situation, but I can't make it illegal because I know that some kids do feel that way genuinely. pre 16. Now it's kind of to a place where I'm like, okay, now I kind of want to wait until 16, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I'm at now. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
transgender children, not really a thing as far as I'm concerned, because most kids aren't really locked in that mindset until
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 12.
Mm-hmm.
So under 12, not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
As far as this is not a transgender child, this is a child that might be transgender eventually. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be safer for us to wait until then.
Yeah.
So 0 to 12, no. 12
Mm-hmm.
to 15, case by case, but probably no. 16 to 17, absolutely. If this is what they want to do and we've had good conversation with them, absolutely go ahead. I feel like that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
18 and up, you do whatever you want. Anything you want to do. I'm fully supportive as long as you are not, as long as you're okay with it gets intense sometimes, not
Mm-hmm.
because of the prejudice, but just because that's a scary thing to go through, kind of like a change of mentality. So
Yeah.
like be aware that that is going to be an issue for you, but yeah, I support you and I love you and go ahead and do whatever you need to.
Yeah. So
That's my
you consider
timeline.
transgender as like a preference.
I'm going with transgender as anyone who would call themselves transgender.
Okay. So
Anyone across the board who would call themselves
that's kind of how
transgender,
I
I'm
was.
okay with that in this
Mhm.
case.
That's how I was before. Like I like watched. Have you seen the show I Am Jazz on TLC?
No, but that sounds pretty good.
You should watch it
I
because
do
like
like
before
jazz.
I watched that show because I didn't really understand it because like I heard I'm like how would like kids know that they're transgender, but
Yeah, that's a
like
good question.
the way I was explained on the like on there and like the way like the doctors and stuff were talking about on there, it made a lot of sense. So like transgender like for some people it is that way. It is more like of a preference that they realize as they get older, but for transgender people it literally is like a chemical miscommunication in your brain. It's not necessarily just like a preference. Like you know what I mean?
Well,
So it's
is
like the
sorry.
way like the little girl explained it. She says she's like so like it's like so like your brain will chemically identify as one gender, but sometimes like in the developmental stage like your body can physically develop as the
Okay.
opposite gender, but on a
Yeah.
chemical level your brain identifies as the opposite. So when you're growing up your brain is confused is not identifying with the things that are happening to your body because your brain thinks the opposite should be happening even though you physically are the opposite gender. So like the little girl and like when like the little girl was like young
Mm-hmm.
like because like there are also studies like where like really young children who want to like be trans like commit suicide at like
Right.
6, 7, 8
Yeah.
because like their parents won't let them be the
Yeah.
opposite
So,
like at that young of an age and
in
because
any
they
case,
you know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
crazy. So, but those are like a lot more rare, obviously. But they're still definitely like a thing, you know? Because
Yeah.
because obviously like kids are like, because like every boy is like, oh, like why can't I like boys and girls are like interested in the other like genders things like when they're growing. Because like I was the same way. I always wanted to wear Jeremy's like my brother's clothes growing
Right.
up. But I wasn't
Sure.
like didn't want to be a boy like but I
Right.
just like I just liked boy things so
Mm-hmm.
I was like well I wanted to wear boy clothes because I was just like a
Yeah.
tomboy when I was growing up
Yeah, and
but like
that's a lot of
like
girls are
yeah
just
but
like
like
guy stuff, and that's just kind of the way it
mhm.
is.
But like there in some kids like for transgender kids like it like goes a step beyond that like it's not it's like where
Interesting.
like they like wholeheartedly believe like I am like a boy like if like a little girl like no I am a boy like I am a boy like I'm
Yeah.
not a girl like I am a boy like
Very adamant.
they
You know.
wholeheartedly believe in their
Yeah.
mind and soul
Definitely
like
wholeheartedly.
at that young it took for them to even like be able to understand and say that
Right.
it's like crazy
It's
that
kind of nuanced. It's like
it's like that
baptizing a toddler. You know. It's like, do they
because
really
like
understand what they're
the,
doing?
yeah because the kid that isn't wouldn't press it so hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a
Yeah.
normal, like average kid who isn't like struggling with like boy or girl identity wouldn't press the issue so
Yeah.
hard, like saying like, yeah, I'm a boy, I'm a boy, I'm a boy, I'm a
And
boy.
I don't
Like
want to
it's
rehash a study I didn't read, but I did hear. I've heard a lot of times a reference to a study that's like most transgender children that express some sort of wanting to change their gender eventually become gay, and but comfortable in
and
their
then
sexuality.
later
So
transition
it's
to the
like at a time in their youth, a lot of kids actually do experience a bit of questioning who they are and maybe trying something new. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be transgender for their whole lives. It just means that at that stage in their childhood development, they
yeah.
did express that they might want to change.
But
And then
it's
they grew
also
out of it
like
like most
a
people.
key. And then, but for the age range too, like I think like I understand like kids like maybe that are like 5 years old, or like under 5 years old, because they are so young and like me working with age 1 to 5, like I understand like the man I like see like that a lot of different kids in that age range, and like I like even now I can kind of
I've seen
there's
it in kids
signs
too. Like
yeah
a like a
there's
like a feminine
signs
boy
that
that you
kids
know is just going to be feminine for the rest of their
yeah,
life.
like that
You know?
like is like could be like one of those boys that goes up to be queer.
Yeah.
Like you could see it at that age already. Like you could see
Yeah.
like the signs and stuff. You know what I mean?
And there's nothing
But
wrong with that. It's just, oh,
yeah.
okay, that seems like what you're going to be like when you grow up.
But the thing is, like for transgender kids who really are transgender, and like
Yeah.
if like the point of like or like it's so key for them to like be able to transition before puberty, because once puberty hits is when it gets so much more traumatic for a transgender person, because
Yeah.
that's when like the body
So,
this dysphoria happens, like, or what's I think that's what it's called,
yeah,
body dysphoria.
body
um,
dysmorphia, gender dysphoria.
yeah, yeah. And like that's what becomes even more detrimental, and that's when like the suicide rate spikes,
Yeah.
is when transgender kids have to go through
About 12,
puberty
let's
that they
say.
don't want to go through, what
Yeah.
I mean? So that's
So,
why it's so key for the if they do figure it out before that age range and can
yeah.
take like the necessary
So,
hormones to avoid that if they
mhm.
wish, like it's better for their mental health in that way.
Okay.
But I mean, I also understand that because like some kids like because there are also cases where kids like transition and then they want to transition back at some other point in their life, and that's always the fear. But like
Yeah.
like I don't know, I feel like some kids who like some of the kids who like really are transition like are transgender can kind of get swept under the rug.
Yeah. No, I agree with
Because of
you.
the fear of like, but what if not? But what if
Yeah.
they are, and you detrimentally set them back
Fair enough.
mentally because you denied that to them?
Here,
You know what I mean?
here's my mentality when it comes to transitioning. If they missed out on it early, I feel like that's because of what we're talking about, and because basically this comes down to loving self.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't really miss out if they're good parents. Otherwise, I'm talking about like people that
Mm-hmm.
actually care about their kids, but they do say
Yeah.
no on the transgender thing. Everything
Yeah.
else, I'm gonna love you like a real child, but this thing, I'm gonna tell you no until you're at the age where you can do it yourself,
So
and then
what
I'm fine with it.
so
Huh?
what scope? Just transitioning, or like would you
Well,
like it would
what I'm
like
saying is
your kid
because the
express as
trans
a 10-year old to like I want to cut my hair, like a girl like, oh, can I cut my hair short? Would you not
uh-huh.
let them? Like, you know what I
No,
mean?
I
Like
would let them. Yeah, when it comes to physical attribute,
like yeah,
when I say transgender starting that process, I think that it
like
seems
the
like
physical.
everyone likes to say whenever you decide, but I would say when you genuinely start trying to physically change your body to be
Mhm.
of your ideal. Then that's when I think that's personally that's when I think that transgenderism really starts, because anyone can say the other part. And I don't want to dismiss anyone who's had their story or anything like that, but kind of isn't that really the case though?
Yeah.
Transgender people are the ones that are physically transitioning from one thing to another.
Yeah, the ones that the
Yeah.
one well, yeah, like
Or at least would
yeah,
want to. Or
yeah,
even just would
yeah,
want to change their bodies.
but then there's also like a community within the
Right.
trans community who like don't feel the need to fully make like the
Yeah,
transition.
okay.
It's
I'm
like
gonna
there's some
skip
that
over
like
talking
and
about them
like
for now, and I
on
just kind
half
of want to
on half type thing.
right. And I'm gonna, not because I want to diminish anybody, but because I kind of think that that's a specific case in the broader spectrum. I feel like we can just talk about transgenderism as the people who actually are physically transitioning, the people who
Transitioning,
commit themselves fully to the idea of transitioning,
full
just
transition,
from one
yeah,
thing to another thing.
yeah, yeah.
Because the
And
other
then
ones
what?
are secondary to the people that have committed fully to the new
Yeah.
persona. Not, you know what I mean, in a positive way.
And some people are. So I've seen like the videos. People
Okay.
are so rude sometimes about it too. Like they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to call you by your preferred pronouns until you're fully transitioned." It's like,
Right.
well, it's a lot
No,
of money
it's
and
kind
it's
of
a long
ridiculous.
process. It's like I'm in the middle
Right.
of it. Why don't you just use my pronouns? And some people are like,
Right.
"Well, even after you transition, I'm not going to." And I'm like,
Yeah. Some people are very hard set. I feel like, and that is, I think it's hard not to be upset at them, but if you think about kind of what the rationalization, at least you could understand. You don't have to agree with them, but like
Mhm.
they are very cut and dry when it comes to the idea of gender, and they've never really had to question it, and even after the conversation with you, they probably won't continue to question it. So it's
Yeah,
like all they see is someone saying this is how I live my life, and then them going, wow, that's kind of weird, and then moving on with their lives. That's
yeah,
how most people view transgenderism.
yeah,
But like when you actually think about it, yeah, I guess technically I would have to allow a society that lets people do whatever they want, and even throw the idea of gender to the wind if they'd like.
hmm
or at least the traditional idea of
Yeah.
gender,
Yeah.
not gender entirely. Um,
Just the whole gender conversation is changing a lot. It's
you
crazy.
know, to I honestly want to be supportive of the actual transition, but the whole but I think the way that my mind is wired is I really like a mechanical way to explain something.
Yeah.
So and I keep trying to build the argument that the transgender community has. And I keep trying to go, okay, well, yes, absolutely. As far as labels go, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't there's no limitations here. Do whatever you want. But if we were
Yeah.
actually if we I was going to sit down with a transgender person and go, well, let's sift through all the information we have and actually make an informed decision on the transitioning part. I feel like I always come out of it, why would you? It's kind of a waste of money because all you have to do otherwise is just love yourself
Mm-hmm.
as you are. And so then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that is such a good answer that I can't commit myself to saying
Mm-hmm.
that absolutely transgenderism works. When I
Mm-hmm.
really don't have any evidence that shows me that it does, and I really don't have any evidence that um, I really can't make a good case for fully supporting it as like a
Yeah.
good positive thing unless I actually talk to someone who the
Have
only
you ever
transgender person I know that I talk to and I really love is my brother-in-law, but they have schizophrenia, so it's not really
yeah.
talking to a trans person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I didn't really know much about trans. I couldn't really have any kind of conversation about the trans community prior, like before I moved to the Bay, because
Yeah.
I didn't know the terminology. I didn't
Right.
know like the science behind it. I had never met anyone or talked to anyone about it. But like moving to San Francisco, obviously there is a huge queer population, a huge trans
Yeah,
population, and like
absolutely huge and lovely people.
yeah,
It
yeah,
seems
no,
like
of
I'm from the
course. And I
outside looking
met,
in,
yeah, and I was like blessed enough to meet like a lot of like even I have sorority sisters that are trans and that are like non-binary and like stuff
and they're
like that.
probably lovely people.
So yeah, no, yeah, definitely. And it's like it's interesting to listen to like their stories and like because I'll ask them like because like me being bi like I because like I'm like I'll straight up tell them like I'm
Are real quick,
like
are you
tell me
bi or
about
are
it.
you pan?
How do I like be an advocate for a trans person in a conversation with a straight that having with a straight person, and I'll like literally ask my trans friends like what are things I should say to like be an ally, to be an advocate for trans like people,
Interesting.
like you know what I mean. And
You don't
like
think that you're
and
just generally an ally and an
opens
advocate?
a lot of my eyes to a lot of different perspectives that I didn't
Hmm.
even think about. I can't think of them specifically right now, but I mean like
Hmm.
just on the spot, but like but no, it's been interesting talking when you talk to if you ever have the opportunity to just sit down and really talk to a trans
Yeah.
person about their like transition and like their decision. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. Very,
What
very
would you say is their main reason for if you, and this is not to say that you're going to fully represent them, but like, what is from talking with them, what's your general sense is their main reason for this is why I know it's the right thing to do? What would you say that they would say?
just like being because like from what I've seen and observed of trans people and like researched and things like transgender people like genuinely feel like pre-transition like but like people who like are realizing they're trans they realize that like yeah like that's how I feel, like I don't feel like I am a female person like just as much as like me wearing a dress and heels every day, I would not feel myself. That does not feel like Brianna to me because I'm not a very feminine person. Like I would feel very not in my own skin
You know,
if
you
I was,
say that, and I don't mean this
like
rudely,
that.
but you have a nice feminine vibe to you. Like your hair is
Now,
beautiful.
more so
It's
now I do,
yeah, I definitely.
but
And that
like
sweatshirt is definitely a feminine one.
yeah. Well,
Just
this is
yeah.
literally the only pink thing I have in my entire wardrobe.
Oh, and it's beautiful.
Like,
I actually really like. What is on it, by the way?
it's Polaroid.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Piper just
It's
got
a
one.
hoodie. It's just a hoodie. Yeah. But no, yeah, literally this is the only pink thing I have like in my I have like
Yeah,
one or two, and I didn't
dude.
own anything pink until
Off
I was
topic.
like 18 or 20.
Off topic. I was watching a video on what was it called? God, was it Jubilee? It's a great channel where they do
Oh, I love
amazing
Jubilee.
videos.
I
Oh, it's
love
so
Jubilee.
good. Oh, we
I
could talk about it
watch
forever.
Jubilee all the time. It's
But
so
it was
good.
the guys rate girls on fashion choice, and then vice versa. And then
Yeah.
there was did you watch that one?
I think I watched part of it. Yeah. I was
Dude,
like
the Barbie
scrolling
girl was
across.
so much, but I loved her. You know, I loved her dedication. Wow, she was wild, and I was honestly like, I got a lot of you in her. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man,
I need to
I could see
rewatch it.
Brianna dressing up and doing this show for sure.
I love that channel. There I love all those types
Yes,
of and like
dude.
Cut. Have you ever watched the channel Cut?
I less so, but yes, I know of it. Yeah.
Cut really good. But yeah, yeah. What were we talking about?
Well,
Oh,
to stay on
oh,
Jubilee real quick, uh,
mhm.
their channel where they have people have conversations is amazing, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
kind of exactly
the
what
sit
this country
down
needs right now, and they
thing.
came at the right time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah!
yeah,
Like the sit down conversations. Like they have the
yeah,
ones like vaxxers versus anti-vaxxers,
yes,
and like monogamy versus non-monogamy, and like all this shit.
yeah. I think they did another one that
Yeah,
was
like
atheists and
and
theists. You
Christians
know, yeah, and Christians. Yeah, it was.
and Christians, yeah, all this stuff. Like yeah, Black Lives Matter versus
Yeah.
like White Lives
God,
Matter,
if
or
only I
whatever.
could be a part of
Like
that team putting those stuff
crazy.
together. You know?
Oh yeah, no, I love. I want to
Yeah.
be in one of those videos. High key,
Dude, you
really.
got to move back to San Francisco probably. Do
I
you know where they're
know.
stationed?
San Francisco. I'm going to. I want to go back there.
I
Yeah.
assume that they're stationed in San Francisco.
I think it's in California. I know it's in
It's got
California
to be.
somewhere. I really
Yeah.
want it.
Okay, so one of the brain chemistry. Brain chemistry. We were talking about. This
Yeah.
is one where I'm not super confident in that answer that I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
The brain chemistry one. It feels a
Mm-hmm.
little bit like, because there's so much about the brain in general that we don't know, that most people are kind of jumping to an answer and then kind of answering that without
Mm-hmm.
actually putting in the evidence behind that one. That's the general sense about that I get.
Mm-hmm.
Because I get that makes sense, but
Mm-hmm.
are we really confident that this is how it works? Because that's kind of not how general reality works outside of that. Because
Mm-hmm.
like, I could believe that I was a witch just because I'm believing, and this is a
Mm-hmm.
bad comparison, by the way. This is horrible. But like,
Right.
just because I live as a witch doesn't mean my life is going to be better. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I could dedicate myself to being a witch, and people do, and maybe they have good lives. But the general person, we all understand that we're kind of playing a part, and it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of, this is an aesthetic choice that I made, and I like it. But
Yeah.
it's never really like I am a witch. That's crazy person talk. The person
Mm-hmm.
who actually believes that they are a witch.
Mm-hmm.
So it I have trouble because it feels like those are similar, and one of them is make believe, and one of them is supposedly rock solid evidence for the existence of transgenderism, and I'm not really sure. What do you think about that description?
I don't know. It's a very interesting description. I don't know because like also like because I don't know. There's a bunch of like weird stuff that people like wholeheartedly believe, like
Mm-hmm.
like and like that. And like, hold on. I'm trying to think of a good
It's
example.
complicated stuff, and I know that's what this
Yeah,
podcast is for, is we kind of have those conversations because I never get to
yeah,
have them otherwise.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like cause like I don't know, cause like you could also like I don't know
Yeah,
how to
it feels
explain.
like, but the thing
Explain it.
about this particular
Like
subject, it
it
feels
has
like the answer
complicated.
is just anyone do whatever they
Let
want
people
to.
live their
Let's
lives and
Yeah,
like just respect other
pre-16
people's
maybe we could have a
opinions.
conversation before you do it, but other than that, you do what you want to with your life.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But like, I mean, yeah, exactly. It's case by case basis. Like,
Mm.
I think it should be a case by case basis past like past the age of understanding, the age of knowing
12.
right and wrong and
Oh,
understanding and
how early is that
understanding.
in your eyes?
Huh? I would say like because like I don't like because like I don't really give kids as much credit as they deserve. Like kids are very smart. They're very aware, especially in this day and age. Like you
I'm
know
not
what I
very
mean?
smart,
Kids have
and I'm
access
25.
so much more information and and kids are taught such a bigger capacity of information at such a younger age
Fair enough.
than before like
The
because
cultivation is the
my
most
mom
part.
didn't take algebra until college. That was the normal back then. Like, I took algebra in eighth grade.
Same,
That's the normal. Like it's
same.
like the amount of information we're being fed is sped up so much more than now, and
Mm-hmm.
even more so now too. And like especially just the environment the world's growing up in. Like kids have access to look at up like
Yeah,
queer information and queer things on the
yeah.
internet. They have the power to look up these information and seek out
Oh,
these
actually,
types of
okay.
things. You know what I mean?
To hold off for a second on the queer information on the internet, I'm not
Like
comfortable with that
we have
one.
to like give like I feel like we have to like give kids a little bit like listen to kids a little more because like I don't know because I feel like or
Well,
like or try to understand them more
right.
than instead of dismissing completely and just be like
So,
wait they're older
right.
because it like kids have way more mental issues and
Yeah.
anxiety than they do now than previous generations do.
Can I talk to you about my brother-in-law a little
Yes.
bit? because my brother-in-law, like I said, is transgender,
Mm-hmm.
and that was an interesting thing. Back when I started dating Piper, this person
Yeah,
Hunter is
I met them. I met them at your wedding.
yeah, the lovely out there child.
Yeah.
They're 21 now and they're struggling a lot. I won't get into details, but I will talk about the transgenderism part and kind of my general sense of that as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to be honest, and this is actually my deep thoughts about the whole
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Um, Hunter Hunter has had a lot of mental issues, and I don't mean this roughly. They have had a lot of struggles that are very very difficult to get through. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of issues with schizophrenia and kind of general grasping of reality. It seems like you know how like when you talk to a stoned person, you know that they're stoned. And
Yeah.
like they're saying this stuff because they're stoned. It's kind of
Yeah.
like I get a lot of those vibes when I know they're not, and so
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh, that's a worrying thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's worrying to see that this person is kind of having difficulty doing basic reality grasping, and that's that. And so I think I've always felt like I want to help you, but when I first met them when they were in high school, they didn't like me because they were still friends with Piper's ex,
Uh-huh. Oh.
and so it was basically like I have no choice now. This person hates me, and I kind of just have to deal with it. But
Yeah.
because of that, I never got to develop a closer relationship earlier on. And so
Yeah.
I could just see them for the longest time, for years. I just saw them suffering in distance. And this, even though this is my now, because I married Piper, brother, because
Mm-hmm.
they came out eventually as transgender.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I couldn't be a part of their life, and they didn't want me as a part of their life. So I was just kind of there. It was a new sibling, but not really. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, same with, I mean, it's kind of the same with me and like me and Jeremy and like Michelle's kids,
yeah,
like, because they're technically our brothers. They're our stepbrothers, but we're not close with
interesting.
them at all. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
like, because like that just wasn't that relation. Like,
there's
I
definitely a
lived with them,
separation there,
but weren't
like a
even,
space.
yeah. Yeah. Like, we're stepbrothers and sisters,
Yeah.
but like, we
And you
don't,
know, and I think we all kind of know what in name only means. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like brother in name only, and that's kind of like rough, but like that is a real
Like,
thing.
forget that I have step siblings. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's not a thing that you should be like, because I'm not upset about that happened, because like it's not my fault. It just happens.
yeah.
And especially because, and I knew the reason they didn't like me, and it wasn't because I was like a bad person or anything. It wasn't because I did something to hurt them. It was just
Yeah.
that's what happens when you date your friend's ex. And honestly, they should have stopped hanging out with that person after that. But they didn't have a lot of friends, and the few friends that they did have ended up getting pushed away a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, their struggles with identity has led them in a lot of places, and one of the answers they landed on was their name used to be Shelby, and they were non-binary in high school throughout most of it.
Mhm.
And then about a year after leaving school, they came out as transgender and started using he, him, stuff like that. And then wanted to be called Hunter because Hunter's parents, if Hunter had been a boy,
Mhm.
they would have named him Hunter.
Mhm.
So they grasped onto that and they took that. And then for a little while they went as Fletcher, and then they went back to Hunter, and they've been there since.
Mhm.
But because of the lack of being able to really grasp reality, I
Mhm.
think the transgender part never really hit home for me. I
Yeah.
can't really consider this person kind of a good representative of transgenderism if the reality is that they're going
Mhm.
through a lot more than just this. And then it was confirmed. And having a little bit of schizophrenia isn't like an issue, you know?
Mhm.
Like we all have Fiddlers on the Roof, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Watch it. Watch it. It's if you haven't,
Absolutely.
watch it. It's
I,
amazing.
I watched it a long time ago, but I remember I liked it a lot.
Yeah. So it's like that's not an issue, but the real issue started coming when it came out that they believed that they were. I don't need to go into details, but it's too serious for me to do that. So and I'm always struggling because I don't support the transition because I believe in self-love and
Yeah.
body positivity more than I believe in changing your body to be what you want it to be. And because I believe in body positivity more than I believe in just accepting the change, I kind of am at a point where I can't be a transgender advocate if I believe in body positivity.
Mhm.
And Hunter's situation makes me confused, and I kind of have to disregard it, but I kind of feel terrible about that because I know that it could be a part of everyone's transgenderism is a little bit of schizophrenia and kind of like identity disorder. And
Mhm.
like the community seems dead set on not labeling it a disorder, and I'm okay with that if that's what the answer ends up being. But right now it seems up in the air, and right now it does kind of seem to me that it's leaning in the disorder category rather than it's just a way that people live. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
of the struggle with truth.
Mm-hmm. But like, what about because like it's more acceptable. It's more socially acceptable, I would say, now than it was obviously like 30, 40, 50 years ago, whatever. Because there are old people now
Yeah.
coming as
Yeah.
transitioning as of
Yeah, of
60-year-olds,
course.
70-year-olds. They're like, I've known my whole life, but it was never going to be okay. They're
Right.
like, I never thought it would be okay. And they transition now. They're like,
Yeah.
this is the life that I always envisioned myself living.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I lived
Yeah.
a fake life, like
And that's
in not
why.
my body, and I
Mm-hmm.
lived a fake life, and now I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting my actual life as the person I was supposed to be my whole life. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
Right.
like, because like, and
And
also
that's
that
tempting
whole thing
to answer
of
that
body
ourselves, you know?
dysmorphia, yeah, and like, and because like we don't feel that way, because like obviously, like I know I'm a girl, like I know I'm a
Right.
girl, and you know you're a boy, like and like that's how you
Yeah.
feel, and that's how you identify, and that's
It's
how
not
it's
even
like,
that I know that I am. It's just that I'm not
that's
even
who you
thinking about
are.
it. That's just it.
Yeah, that, and that's just
Yeah.
how it is. Like
Yeah,
you
it's just how it is.
like, you know what I mean? So like we couldn't possibly understand not being
Yeah.
set in that, you know what I mean? But like, because like when I heard about the even just the term of body dysmorphia, and like the
Mm-hmm.
feel, like how like
I feel that.
trans people who haven't transitioned, who want to fully transition, who feel like they're in a plastic doll, like they're not even inside their own body,
Yeah.
like they're on the outside looking at someone
Yeah.
else's body, they're stuck in somebody else's
Yeah.
body, like they're in their own brain, stuck in somebody else's body that's not theirs. Like, and like to
Fair enough.
like physically not feel an attachment or
Right.
recognize your
Right.
own physical body, like how
Yeah.
terrifying that would feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
Like, you
okay,
know
and
what
this
I mean?
is and that's
Like,
valid.
that's
Definitely.
crazy. You know
It
what I mean?
seems like one
And
answer is
like,
to accept the change as a reality.
yeah, and
But
if
it
like
is kind of strange, isn't it? The
and
whole like
like
concept that
mhm,
that's what happened to them is they kind of lost it.
mhm,
They fell out of sync with their body, kind of.
mhm.
And
Well,
the
some
answer
people
that they
like
had
feel
was, I
like
should
that,
change
or
my
some
body.
people feel like that their whole lives, like, you know,
Because
and then
I think
finally
what
put an end to it, you know.
yeah, I struggle with that specific answer because it's like, yes, you did answer that I can change that and be happy, but couldn't you have easily just loved yourself as you were, and that would have also worked? And also, it's true for anyone that anyone at any point can just accept themselves as who they are and then
Yeah,
move on with their lives. Isn't that true?
well,
Like, but isn't that true
sure,
before
I guess,
transitioning as well
yeah.
as it is after? You could
Yeah,
just
but I mean,
accept
you
yourself
could
as the way
also
you are.
say that about, I mean, you could say that about anything, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but you could say that, like, murderers could say that, like, I'm murder, and
Yeah,
that's
but
just, I'm
murderers have a different
alive.
outlook.
You
So,
know what I
and I
mean?
don't mean to diminish, but
Like,
that
I don't
has
know, you could
clear
just
effects on
say that
society,
about
though.
anything, you know
You
what
know
I
what I
mean?
mean? It has like
Mm-hmm.
clear effects on society, murder.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas transgenderism is just a personal thing, and that's why I'm saying I'm not telling you not to do it. You can do whatever you want, but like, is it effective? That's a great question. I feel like loving yourself is actually more of an answer than the transition itself.
If that, what if that's their definition of loving themselves, is like, if that's
Mm-hmm.
what they need to do to love their own body, then
Mm-hmm.
like, then, you know, then like that's what they need to
So
do, like,
there's
because,
a.
you know, like, because like you can make that, because you could also
You're
make
right.
that, like, for someone who has like a really affecting like birthmark or something, who has someone who has like some kind of growth on their face that's a birthmark, or something, like something that like would be a very difficult thing to handle. Like obviously, like you don't love having this thing on your face, and it'd be a lot easier for you to change that, and like,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the body you were given, that's the body that's your body. Like obviously you don't love having it, and you could and if you could change it, you, like a lot of people would, some type of thing or whatever, like, but like yeah, you could learn to love yourself, and like some
Mm-hmm.
people with things like that, like they like whatever, I'll learn to love my body. But for some people, like if they have the opportunity to change it, they would, and they would,
Mm-hmm.
and to make themselves, and if they think that would make them happier, like they
Yeah.
would. Just how like people like get plastic surgery to make the, like, I feel like
So
like to get their boobs,
yeah.
like get the boobs in,
But
like
isn't that
like,
like
feel
isn't
better.
that isn't
Like,
that doesn't that come into kind of an issue territory? That's like saying that it's actually worth something to change your body when really in the first place you shouldn't want to change your body in the first place.
depends.
When it
Well,
comes to like
you
so
know,
like
that's just
you
so
would
special.
never make fun of a person for having a strange nose, because if you did, you'd be that awful person that made fun of
Yeah.
someone for having a nose, right?
Yeah.
But uh,
Hmm.
isn't that kind of the definition of self-love? Is just as you are, even if you don't like it, love it. Like it's
Hmm.
really the only reason you don't like it is because you're comparing it to other people. If
Hmm.
if you didn't know about that people
Oh,
question
just
their
it's all just
sexuality,
your preference, of happiness, you know.
and the leaning on freedom is always the right answer. So I feel like no matter what, the answer that you do whatever you
If
want and I will
you
support
can
you
do it,
is the right
yeah.
answer.
Yeah, as long like yeah, like I think as long as you're not hurting anyone or and
Hmm.
not like like get like hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Like I mean like
You
I
know,
guess
can
like
we
then
talk about
like
it for a minute because it's really intense? GameStop guy, girl, my bad.
that.
You don't know?
No,
Okay, can you open up YouTube?
on my phone, yeah. What's GameStop girl?
Look up games. Hold on, let me look it up on YouTube real quick.
What is it? What's it about? What is
It's a meme that's in a lot of the circles that I've seen in the past. GameStop ma'am. Yeah, GameStop ma'am. It's MA apostrophe AM.
with angry GameStop transgender
It
women
should
who
be from 2 years ago from Jigen Gaming or yeah.
yeah.
No, we're not doing credit.
Oh wait,
You're gonna give me my fucking money.
transgender man goes off on a GameStop.
Yeah, so this is a meme from a community that you're not familiar with, but it is something that has floated around the internet for a long time, which is why I'm bringing it up.
Oh, you want me to watch it?
Yeah, go ahead. It's not very long, but just give that a look see.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am. You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am. Once again, ma'am. I said both of you. No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am. I just said both of you guys. Right beforehand, you fucking said sir. Motherfucker, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a fucking sir. I apologize. Motherfucker. I apologize.
So this is not like me saying, "Look, bam, transgender bad." No, this is not what I'm saying. But I am saying that guy is transgender. You know what I'm saying? And the community kind of has to
obviously by their looks
correctly,
they're
yeah,
trying
yeah,
to portray that they are transgender.
yes.
And like you know what I mean?
And so I'm like, and this
Oh.
is where people get, okay, well, what the heck is transgenderism? Because it does seem a little bit in this realm sometimes, and transgenderism itself seems kind of tied with not being able to distinguish truth very well. You see what I'm getting at? This is just me saying this, but this is kind of where I'm at right now. It seems like those things are kind of tied together a little bit because one of them, I feel like body positivity is better, and it's clear that they haven't answered that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that might be. Well, I mean, body positivity might be better for the people around that person, but for them, like like why? But like I don't know. Like I feel like trans
I don't
people
know
should
the
just
answer to
have to
this.
do what they think. Like
I
like
don't know the answer.
if someone wants to live as the opposite gender, if that's
Yeah.
what
If that's what they want to do, let them do it, I guess.
want to live,
Yeah.
just like people who like vegans, like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like everybody eats meat. It's not everybody fucking eats meat.
It's sad
But like,
sometimes, but yeah.
and everybody thinks it's so, and like a lot of people think it's very strange. Like, oh my god, I can never be vegan. That's so crazy. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, but like
It's great
it's
be
just
eating
a
meat, I'll be
lifestyle
honest,
choice.
but
It's just
it's
a
a lifestyle.
lifestyle
Yeah.
choice. Just how like
Good point.
it's
Good
a
point. Sing it to the
lifestyle choice.
heavens, man. It is a lifestyle choice, and it's not a negative
'cause there
one.
are also there's
Yeah.
like trans people who don't feel that who also think that like yeah you're only trans that if you fully transition, but there are also trans people who think that you
Yeah.
don't have to transition at all and still be trans.
Yeah.
You can still call yourself trans.
I think I saw a
It's
video
just
recently
preference and
of
differences of definition.
right.
You know?
There was this woman who came out as it came out that she was transgender after like a couple years of nobody knowing, and she was like the head of at the head of a fashion company. And she said, yeah, I am trans. It's not something that I really planned on coming out as, just because I am just living my life as the way I want to live it.
And,
Yeah, and that's the problem, because it gets
it's like-
mediatized, and then people are only talking about the most interesting ones. So they see the transgender guy at the GameStop very often.
Passing ones.
Right, yeah.
Passing transgender.
They talk about
Society has a problem with transgenders who don't pass as the opposite gender. When you can't tell that someone's
yes.
trans, people are like, oh, well, you can't tell. Well, like, yeah, well, like, obviously, and nobody would question or like, and that person probably wouldn't be called the opposite gender on accident or on purpose or on accident, because they so obviously look like the gender that they're trying that they're portraying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like someone who isn't as lucky and who can't pass as easily, like they're always going to get that criticism just because they're not blessed with the body that is going to allow them to pass enough.
But isn't that like assuming that transgenderism is the right thing and there's something in between them and the promised land of being perfect, you know? Isn't that just like being upset at their own interpretation of the way that they're being looked at, when honestly a transgender person should just, I don't really care unless you're at my house with pitchforks and torches. I don't know why a transgender person should care about someone who's has the pitchforks or would otherwise have the pitchforks.
And I also think about like the drag community too, like because most drag people, they're not trans. They just dress up and do it's literally mostly men, gay men. It's usually gay men or just usually, and sometimes even straight men who just like to dress up as a woman and just like to like be a woman for a little bit and then take it off. You know,
the drag community is wild. I love it.
Yeah, I love drag.
We were watching Dragula for a while, and that's a freaking great show.
What it was called. There was oh my god, there was a new drag show that came out in the last year, and it was really, really good, and I forgot what the name of it was. Damn. I'll look it up and I'll send it to you. Did you? Highly recommend.
I love those drag shows.
From American Horror Story in it. It has the dude from American Horror Story.
Oh, okay. The fashion guy?
It has like the young dude from American Horror Story. I don't know his name.
I didn't watch that show, so.
Oh, I didn't watch that show either. I just
damn. You were referencing it to me.
But no, oh my gosh, yeah, it's really good. It's called Pose. It's called Pose.
Pose, okay.
Yeah, and it's about the drag community in like the 70s or 80s or something like that. And it was super good. It was really good. I didn't finish the whole thing, but I watched a few episodes, and the few episodes I did watch was really cool. But yeah, no, like in it, but there's drag and trans community talk in it, and like it talks a lot about it and shows about stuff.
Drag is an art form, and there's no way around it. It's an art.
Yeah.
It's a specific type of art, and there's a specific community for that type of art. But like,
some people think drag queens are all transgender. I'm like, no, it's like they're like, so like, you know, I don't know.
Here's the thing. You can kind of see why they make that connection when you think about one thing, and that's just making the description, or because it's true that most drag queens are gay. It's interesting that is a thing that's true. So it does seem like this is where sexuality and gender and identity kind of overlaps. Where no one has a problem with a man portraying himself as a woman, because this is the art form. Yeah, but no, I guess you're correct. I think you've become lost if you say that the drag queens are transphobic. I think that not you specifically, but a person saying that because these men are dressing up as women and then taking it off, that is somehow transphobic. And I feel like there are certain markers that we can see when a person, you aren't making sense when you say the drag community is transphobic. Stuff like that. Do you see? So this is like because I grew up conservative, so I'm like trying to balance these new views. Right, yeah.
Which is so crazy.
I'm trying to balance these views because it seems like there's the conservative me, which is the conservative me, and then there's the less conservative me that's like trying to figure out, this seems it's probably not the right idea to just be that, because they seem kind of crazy. And then same way, but like I'm looking at the left side and I'm going, well, they have a lot of crazies too. And I'm kind of trying to I'm looking at both sides of this like battle, and I'm like, I think I should take this slow, and I feel like I should take this measured going forward. And I need something that kind of helps me kind of talk it out, because it's sketchy, kind of what some people say. Have you talked to someone who's like very religious and like Jehovah's Witnesses?
Oh yeah, I've talked to some very religious.
Isn't it like
people. There's people who've taken it so far to the level, and
it's like it's impressive that they've gone that far, but it's also like, holy shit, they got brainwashed in a lot of ways.
Have you heard of Westboro Baptist Church?
Yeah, okay, well I'll even watch them off to the side. They were crazy on their own, but they were like one family that kind of met and kind of like, and it's actually true, they're almost entirely one family that was just crazy. So it's like, they were idiots, they were stupid, they were awful representations of Christianity, and I spit on them if I saw them on the street.
Same.
And honestly, I wouldn't say that for many people, and I don't even know if I would have the balls to do it even then, but I would see myself spitting on them.
They're booing at dead American soldiers' funerals.
I know. I don't care if you hate soldiers. You don't go to their funeral and protest and tell them that they're going to hell.
Yeah,
because,
and tell their crying
family
members that they went to hell.
I can't even imagine what it was. Can you imagine, Brianna, being at the funeral, at that funeral that they protested at?
Being people like that is what makes Christians look so bad too, because there are good Christians out there, but there's also a lot of hate-filled Christians, and then like those specific ones are the ones that the media paints out to everyone, and that makes Christians look crazy and bad. Yeah.
And it does feel true that the media, because it leans left, is very anti-Christian in a lot of ways. It does seem like because Christians tend to be like, well, we go to church every Sunday and we follow the law and that the Bible sets for us. There's no room in their world for the drag community. And so the left side, which is accepting of the drag community, goes, well, fuck you. We're gonna hang out with these people. And that's kind of what it feels like. It's kind of like, you guys disagree with us on something very fundamental, so go do your thing over there, but we on the left are going to chill over here and just kind of enjoy the wonderful community.
Hate is against, though even the word hate is against Christianity in general. God don't hate nobody. Yeah. God hates sin. God doesn't hate anybody. God's people should not hate other people. They should hate the sin they're doing, but not give that person hate at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, that's not the Christian way to be hateful to people. No. Like, that's not, Like,
good Christians are, like, exactly what you'd expect. They're the nice Southern lady. That's exactly what they are at their core.
They'll give you their Christian opinion. They will give you their Christian opinion. But, like, a good Christian would just give you their opinion and not be hateful about it.
Right.
Like, you know.
So I think we're at a point in society where we have trouble getting over that they just disagree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we need to get to the point where
part of the reason is because on stuff like that, you're fucking wrong, and I can show you why you're wrong about this particular image. I can show you why you shouldn't look down on a drag person for any fucking reason at all.
Yeah, like you have to draw the line somewhere, because there's our topics that are just clearly that is 100% general consensus that these things are wrong.
Murder is always wrong. Slavery is always wrong. I don't care who you are. Exactly. You cannot confirm slavery ever.
And I was just talking about this earlier, but like 200 years ago, that would not be, that wasn't the case. Like, and it takes time to get to that mentality, and it has to start somewhere. You know what I mean? So like gay marriage, like becoming legal a few years ago, like 100 years ago, oh, that was not that, like, oh, like you're gonna get hanged just for even saying that.
Actually, 100 years ago was the 20s, so you probably would just get thrown in jail for life, or sent to a crazy house where they'll do electroshock therapy on the gay people to fix them of gayness.
Exactly.
Oh, you guys don't get how it's dangerous.
Those come so far, like, you know what I mean? And because just about I was watching my dad's video and I had to like stop when you were talking about the gay stuff, because I was like,
it's a lot, but he's just like my dad. He is my dad, basically. So this is I'm going to talk to my dad about the same stuff.
Your dad's religious. My dad's not religious at all, and his whole argument is based in a religious argument.
I know, and that's where I wanted him to see how you don't have to do it this way. You can actually just be accepting of this community, and because I know he's not like a devout guy. He's not a devout guy, so that means obviously your argument is based on
a
nothing.
Religious argument.
Right? And I was like, I'm not gonna.
It's unnatural. That's Christianity's belief of why gay isn't, because Christians believe it's not natural.
Right. If I had talked about the Christianity stuff, he would have nothing to add, because it's not. He doesn't actually really particularly care about it. So it's like, I can show you why, because you're not very Christian. There's no good reason to be anti-transgender.
It should be a thing that gay marriage should be a thing. But not everybody thinks that. But also there are still people in this world who think racism is 100% okay, and that slavery is 100% okay. Yeah. There are still people,
and it's not a cultural thing. That is across the board. No matter what culture it is, slavery is bad.
Slavery
It
is
doesn't
just
matter.
that.
Eastern, Western doesn't matter. So that was
Yeah, it
confusing
doesn't
for me
matter what.
because he was
Like
trying to
that's
rationalize it.
how like female mutilation,
Right.
how like it's still vouched for
Even
as a religious
circumcision
thing
is not a
and
good thing.
things. Yeah, like even like in a bunch of African cultures, they still like let it slide because they say it's a religious thing. Like it's not. It's just straight abuse. It's not. It's
abuse.
like they're like you have to draw a line somewhere. Like you know what I mean. The line has to be drawn somewhere. And like that. Like I feel like right where we're at right now with the whole gay conversation in general and trans everything, all that stuff. Like just imagine where we're going to be at in 100 years, because 100 years ago it was not even
if we make
a
it
shadow of a doubt of a thought. You know what I mean? In 100 years, imagine how far the mentality will go. Like how we think now. Like that's so insane how everybody thought it was just okay to whip people and keep people like animals,
to treat people
and
like property, not even like
property.
not even like I'm a steward of you. No, you are my property and I can do what the fuck I want to do with you. That is evil.
And
at
even
its
like
core.
100 years ago, the women voting is 100-year mark is coming up. And 100 years ago, like, women couldn't vote. Like, and that's so crazy now because, like, of course, women can vote. A woman is now the vice president of the United States. How far we've come in 100 years. You know
so
what
I
mean?
would say
like,
I would be open
on the topic 100 years from now. So it could be so different. You know, it could just be.
You know what? You know what I'd be down for at the 200-year mark. I would like to make that day, just voting day, but specifically put women first for that day, but like also talk about, actually women's right to vote. Okay, in 1,000 years, would that day be kind of moot?
Yeah, it'd be moot.
So it would just stop being celebrated on its own, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so people would just kind of forget about it, and then it would disappear.
Voting in 1,000 years,
right? So like that's an interesting thing. I feel like we should just celebrate it until people don't want to celebrate it anymore. So like leave it as Women's Day. Because I'm trying to, because I like equality too.
Holidays that we've taken off, like I'm sure there was holidays from colonial days that we obviously don't celebrate now. Like,
dude, you know what's? Would you consider yourself a feminist?
In some aspects, yes. Some aspects, no. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like the definition of feminism is just for women to be treated equally, and I feel like that is not a bad thing.
No, it's
like,
not a
I feel
bad thing.
Like just as this, I feel like it's the same thing as like the Black Lives Matter basis that Black people just want to be treated equally, just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just
that's
like, you know, like the basis of all of most of these types of social movements is like people just want to be all treated the fucking the same.
Right.
Like, you know, people just wanted to be treated equally.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's the basis for feminism. For, you know, like basically, and like I support that. I don't support the crazy way
super
over extremist feminism.
Feminazi.
Because people can go crazy with it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
like Big Red back in the day. You know what I'm talking about?
You can take it way too far. But I mean, people also don't take it seriously enough. Also, on the other hand.
Yeah. Do you think that it's kind of a balance that'll always exist?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
because like women are always going to feel subjugated by men in the sense that men tend to be stronger. So it's like, and that's just, and I'm not even saying that, this just is.
You know what I mean? And like I also think like I feel like this whole century is just such like a dynamic societal shift. You know what I mean? Because,
isn't it fucking crazy to be part of this society where internet is brand new and you and I were raised on it? Like
and like the kids that are being born now, they wouldn't even have any concept of like electricity and technology not being a part of every single thing we do in life. I think it's insane that I think about when people had to print out maps to go anywhere and print it out on paper. I would lose my mind. I would not be able to go anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere.
I use it going to places I know how to get to.
Yeah. Like you had to ask
just for the traffic aspect.
Literally have a paper ass map out. Like that. That's so crazy to me. Even though our parents are like, like duh.
Yeah,
like
and it's like
you know what I mean. So it's like it's so crazy. Like
I don't know what it's like to not have Google Maps.
Like just especially with technology, like society just made such a huge pivotal shift that it's like we can't really base it off past as much anymore because it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, you're absolutely correct.
In such a different direction in exponentially faster too. Like,
what do you think? What do you think about? Because I like fun hypothetical thought stuff. What do you think about?
We should pick out of the bowl. We haven't even picked out of the bowl.
We haven't yet. We can though.
Let's pick one topic out of the bowl at least. You know.
Okay. But real quick, what do you think about it's a kind of just a random thing, but like the simulation theory. Do you think that that's possible, that this is not real and we're just like computer
The life is a
simulation?
simulation.
Yeah.
I thought about that too, because like,
Yeah. I mean, everybody has at some point, but like,
right?
what do you think about it?
I don't know, because that's a really interesting theory. Because like I also like I think about what's it called like the Divergent series.
Oh,
How
good
yeah,
series.
how like that's been like they lived in that little city thinking that that was just life, that thought
Yeah.
they thought that was their true life, and then to come out to they find out that their whole existence and whole way of life has been an experiment the last 300 years. Like you know, like
Yeah,
that's
that's like,
crazy.
ooh, that's kind of
Like,
interesting. There's
weird.
something. Okay, do you know about archetypes?
I know that I've heard
So,
that word.
I mean, obviously, yeah, Jordan Peterson stuff. Yeah, archetypes are just classic stories, and that seems like one of them. Like a group of trapped teenagers, uh, desperately trying to escape the reality that was set for them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that was set in stone. Like Maze Runner is basically the
Yeah,
same
like
thing.
I've seen Maze Runner, yeah.
Where literally like you're in a prison and there's a labyrinth to escape, and that's what
Yeah.
you do your whole life. I haven't even seen it, and I know
Yeah.
the plot.
Yeah, and
And
I think
it's
of like I even think of like Horton Hears a Who too. Like
yeah.
on a spec.
Oh my god, that was mind blowing as a kid. It's
Like,
on a snowflake.
yeah, it's like what?
It was like my little brain was like, "Holy crap! Oh,
It's
what
like
the
what
heck?"
if our world is just a speck floating in
Yeah,
the
yes,
somewhere? Like,
exactly. My little mind was blown. What if that's possible?
yeah, right? Isn't that
I mean,
crazy?
oh god, that's why it's good to have like a good grip on reality. I feel like, because it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, no. Oh my God, did you? So my I forgot who told me, but somebody just told me that the U.S. government officially came out and said that yes, there is aliens. They confirmed it.
they said UFO, but yes, they said we have no idea what the heck that thing is what they said.
They're like, we 100% don't know what that is, and that's not us.
Yes,
That is
yes, and that's
aliens.
not anyone. Dude, and that's like another thing. Like that is a
Like,
thing that you can think about. Like, why are we
like,
alone? Why
yeah,
can't we see anything?
when you think about it too, it's honestly it's more improbable that there aren't that there is aliens than the possibility
Yeah.
of there happening, because like the exponential amount of planets and like galaxies
Yes.
that our technology has been able to map, it is so much more likely that there is life on other, or like we can't think we're the only life here, like we can't
No.
possibly reach the other side of our own galaxy, the Milky Way, but there are trillions of galaxies that way bigger than ours even,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
our even to just get to the other side of our galaxy, it's what 22 million light years or some shit. Like
Fuck
we
yeah.
like we and there's no possible way we could ever know that life exists, because like we don't have that
Honestly,
technology yet. You know what I mean?
Honestly, but then the other
Like
thing was like, I was like, if
there, like
aliens
there could be
existed,
another Earth out there somewhere.
right, or
People,
like just they probably have found us already, but they just haven't revealed themselves to us
yeah,
if they exist.
yeah,
And
like,
honestly, if I was them, I wouldn't either. This is like the most temperamental time in like human history, so it's like I kind of get why maybe the policy is to wait until they've kind of settled down as a planet, because that's certainly not something we are right now as a planet. We are not unified.
Yeah, and in the span of time, humans have technically only been around on this planet for like a blip, like in the grand timeline of all of the universe. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. We have a lot of growing to do.
And like, so like yeah, like aliens.
Do you have Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Dude, have you watched The Expanse?
No, I don't watch anything on Amazon.
Dude,
Prime.
go watch The Expanse. It's amazing. It's a show. It's really brutal, but it's good.
If you ever had the opportunity to go into space in your life, would you?
Okay, here's the thing. I don't have the intensity in myself to do that. Think about this. If you worked hard enough today, right now, you could go to Mars. Do you realize how crazy that is? Do you realize how fucking crazy it is that with sheer intensity, you can get yourself on another planet? I do not have that. I wish I did, and I respect the person who gets to Mars. Right? They fucking do. They're gonna be whoever gets is part of the first colony.
By the end of the decade, they'll have the first humans on Mars.
Can you imagine like the amount of pressure it's gonna be on the captain of that ship, because that captain is going to be put down as the first statue of the new colony. They're going to be the first statue of the new colony, and we know that. And not only that, but the whole society is going to be built around this plaza that is going to have the statue of him in it.
Do you know that the whole
or
world
her actually or her, because who cares? Actually, I would rather it be a woman at this point because of the subjugation overcoming that men didn't have to feel.
Do you know that world governments and the world kind of has the backup plan to make Mars this the second option of Earth when we finally kill ours?
That's the plan, dude. That's the thing about Expanse. Watch the Expanse.
You know what I mean? That's basically the final backup plan is they have the secret shuttles and shit to Mars. That's why they're having a race to Mars to figure it out.
You know what? I don't believe that they have it now. Right. I don't believe they have it now. The problem is that there's no emergency situation when it comes to other planets. Yeah. If you talk to Elon Musk, it's pretty clear that even getting there once is so difficult that you can't just make an escape pod and go to Mars and hope for the best. Yeah. It's too far, and there's too much fuel that's needed in the process, and you need the right amount of fuel because you can't use regular rocket fuel. You have to use hydrogen-based rocket fuel, which really is only developed by SpaceX and Elon Musk. So you can't just have a lot of money and go to Mars. You actually have to be part of the new colony that's actually going there to live. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, conspiracy theories I'm worried about, so I think a lot about how it actually is. What's the real...
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, which is why The Expanse is cool, because it's if nothing changes, how would the world look like in 500 years?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna find out here in about 6 years, because the world clock is ticking.
Let's do the bowl now.
Where it is. It's in New York or DC or something. There's some building that the climate activists or whatever gave Washington DC a world clock, and it's this clock thingy that they gave it them a little one, and there was this whole thing about it, but and they did it on Earth Day, I think. And yeah, so there's on the top it's a timer, and then and it has, because scientists said a few years back we have 10 years or whatever to make massive climate changes to the whole world, or we are 100% fucked. And the planet is going down a path that will be irreversible past this point. And we have 6 more years. We have 6 more years to get to at a point where I think they said it has to be at least 70 or 80% renewable energy on the planet. Yeah. And we're at 12% right now. Yeah. And we have to get to 80 in 6 years. Yeah. Or it is irreversibly or irreversibly fucked. And we're the whole planet is fucked. And the planet doesn't take it seriously. Yeah.
The first step though, I believe in, and that's getting everything to electric. And that's kind of a tough thing, and a lot of people are going to have to choke down a lot. And I feel recreationally we can still leave it, but as far as commuter cars, they all need to become electric yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's why is this not serious news to people? You guys know that if we actually can mess all this up, and all it takes is to not make any changes. That's all it takes.
And people are but it's going to cost so much money and it's going to be so much work. It's we're not going to have a planet to live on, so what is it going to fucking matter? Yeah. What are borders or money or whatever are going to matter if we're all fucking dead? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what happened to preserving for the future generations, making a better quality of life for our future generations? What happened to that? What that was the mentality 150 years ago. Yeah. Let's make the world a better place for our kids.
They stopped caring.
It's wild. You want your grandkids to go through the apocalypse and the end of the world? Want your grandkid to see the end of the literal end of the fucking world? Because that's still possible. That's possible within our lifetime. We could see the end of the planet, which scares the shit out of me.
And I don't.
Our kids could live through the end of the planet. Which is completely possible. Which that's insane. The end of humanity completely is possible within the next 100 years, which is insane. And people don't take it seriously enough. They think this is just here for our disposal, and it's not. You know what I mean?
Right. Dude, I think I'm upset, and I'm trying to figure out why that is. Why don't they care? And I answer it a little bit, but I'm very at this point in my life.
Don't care. Young people care.
Right. But I'm trying to figure out what the adults are basing their opinion on, and it seems something. And one of the negative sides of me is well, that's kind of Christianity. That does that. It's if this is only a temporary transitional space, it doesn't really matter how I leave it, because when I go, I'm going to end up in paradise, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. So I'm just, when I'm old, I'm not going to care anymore, and when I'm young, I might care. But maybe not.
Yeah.
That's kind of, and I don't want to blame Christianity on everything, but there is a negative aspect where I feel like that's contributing for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, definitely. Because all Christians are also like, well, like the end times are coming. Because Christians believe it's end times now. Like I was, like I had, like even when I was in high school, like I had teachers at my church saying like, I believe that like the Lord's going to come back by 2018, 2017. We're in 2021
they
now.
always say it.
I know, but like,
it's crazy.
But like, there's also like hella signs happening from the Book of Revelations, also, and it also makes me question. Even though like I've also been like struggling with my Christianity, anyways, but like
help from me. By the way, I'm awful,
and I'm just like,
do you think it's a bad thing?
A lot of things match up recently, and I'm just like, oh my god, because like wars and rumors of war, disease, famine. Yeah. Like there was a river in Italy that ran red with looked red as blood for weeks because wine spilled into an aqueduct and red water was coming out of people's taps, and I was like, I was just like, oh my god, I was like, what the heck? Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy, and
it is crazy. But like, I think what I'm trying to get at is like, can we like specifically connect things like that? And okay, real quick, before I talk about religious stuff, because I love talking about it, is it a bad thing for me, for what I'm doing as far as being an atheist and specifically poking out these like holes that I would say is part of a religion?
No, because I mean, I see them too.
Okay, because it's like, I really don't want to be a problem in people's lives. And I know that I've gone through a lot and I've had a lot of mental health issues, like struggles recently. So it's like, but a lot of it is because I'm actually in Christianity. I was looking at that stuff and I was seeing that stuff, and I for a long time realized that I was ignoring a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah, no, I've always seen them, but like,
it's just not important, right?
But like,
or you answer something else.
You're just supposed to blindly accept, you're just supposed to blindly accept the God, because the Bible is God's word, and you're taught to accept.
And that's not a problem. Those people are happy.
It's final, and like, because that's what my mom is, and my family is, and like she like, and you know what I mean, and I'm like, that's how I was raised, and I understand.
And it's
like,
so easy to just kind of go, well, I don't have to worry about it. It's just true.
Yeah, and like, but also when these books were written, like we weren't at a time where we can scientifically prove otherwise for things, and like the Bible does say like some pretty out of pocket stuff, like there's stuff in there about like you should be like stoned for wearing clothes of two fabrics, and like how like women should submit to their husbands in every
after
way.
Rape. After rape too, they're actually required to be married to the man that raped them.
Yeah, and that's obviously
it's
not
clearly
okay.
that they're second. Women are in the Bible are second class citizens,
and we can't take we can't take everything necessarily the Bible goes word for word, because that's not the world that we live in now. Like, you know what I mean?
Now we actually have to take into account the opposite side always, because we have to make sure we're listening to truth.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That includes our own spiritual journeys.
But then people pick out specific things that benefit them specifically and run with it wholeheartedly. And and it's like, so, but it's a different time. Like,
and sometimes they're really happy about it too. And that they're like, it really is a benefit in their lives. And I want to be like, I see the benefit in your life.
All power to you if that's for you.
And I see that you're happy, but like, I still can't give. I've been talking to a pastor of the church that I used to go to, and we were talking about Genesis, and we got to a point where he actually told me that he believes that it's probably more likely that this is a mythology and not literal interpretation of what of like historical events,
like what actually happened. And
so it's so
fact for fact that's how the world was made, and it's like
and I really feel for the people who that is a dedication that's very impressive. Like, I'm really glad that they believe it so much, but like the world they try to build for me, and I'm telling you, like, I've tried to fix it. I've tried to make it work in my head so much, and it stressed me the fuck out. And the only answer I had left was to get rid of the whole thing, because it's too much to say that the flood happened when there's literally no evidence for it, and it's probably entirely a fabrication and just a good story. A good story. A great story. Right. And it's just like, and that's what it comes down to. Can you convince yourself that the flood actually happened? And how do you make that work? If you convince yourself that the flood happened, then the whole universe is 6,000 years old.
Yeah.
And and that is just beyond what I can accept now. I can't go back.
Yeah, like when as soon as the first time I heard, because I didn't know Christians believed that. I didn't know that was a Christian belief until I was much older, until I was a teenager and heard it in one of my older Bible classes, and then they
You're like,
said that
oh,
like the world's only 6,000 years old. I was like, what? I
yeah.
was just like, no. I was like, no.
And it's not even like, and as that kid, it's not even like you're even saying no. You're just like,
that
it's
doesn't
just
sound
confusing.
right.
It's just like, that doesn't seem right, and I don't know what to do because everyone seems to believe it. You know,
'Cause,
everyone
like,
around you as a kid believed
yeah.
that. And as far as me,
Obviously, like back then in that time period, that seemed like a huge number. I'm
yeah,
sure, like
it
that
seemed like,
seemed
well,
like
I'm
a
just, this is
totally
just existence.
plausible huge number, like because it was such
Mm-hmm.
like it was just back then. But like now, as we furthered with technology and
Yeah,
like
and people can do their own
undeniable
research.
fact, like
Yeah,
scientifically proven hard fact
yeah.
evidence of like carbon dating and things like that,
Yeah,
and
not,
like
you know what carbon dating does? It's only accurate to 60,000 years, but even that is enough, that's like, well, I at least know that it's 60,000 years old then, because I can
yeah,
test something like that. And with
yeah,
radiometric dating, you can actually take the oldest rocks on Earth, which are like 4.5 billion years old, and see
yeah,
how old they are. And you can
yeah.
confirm
And
that yes, the world
like
is this age.
yeah, and same with like taking cores of glaciers, like Arctic
Yeah.
glaciers that have been
Yeah.
for thousands and
Permafrost.
thousands of years. Yeah, the permafrost. You can see the animals that are extinct now, who've been extinct for
Yes.
thousands and thousands of
Yes.
years, and that are like in like you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like the ancestors to animals of today. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's
And
like
if you go to the Grand
and it's like
Canyon,
that's
you can see the
undeniable fact.
layers.
Like you can't yeah, you can see the layers, like you can't argue with science.
Yes.
Like
And it's
and
like,
like the way
and I've,
the earth physically scientifically moves and is built, like because Christians don't believe in the Pangea thing
no,
either.
well, they do, but like, they believe Pangea broke apart, and this is the general sense, at the tower, after the Tower of Babel, when God separated the people from the Tower of Babel.
Oh yeah.
He broke the world up too, and put them where they are today. And it's like, you can see the drift of the continents. You can look at the geological level,
Watch,
and
yeah,
you can
and
see
you can
that
see
this
how
is
they fit
actually, yes,
together like
confirmed,
puzzle
this is how it
pieces.
happened. They drifted apart.
Yeah.
And
And
you
and
can't
then you
just
can
say
physically see
it
the
suddenly
layers of
happened
the
like that.
years, and you can go count the layers of years and years and years and
Yeah.
years and years
Yeah.
of moving and moving and moving, and it doing what it does.
And when you
Like
talk about
it's
evolution,
still
now we're
moving
at
now, like
right.
centimeters a year. It's still, I mean, you know, or like an inch a
Mm-hmm.
year or whatever. It still moves to this day and is continuing to get bigger.
Yeah, and yeah,
So
exactly. It's still in a
it's
process of change,
yeah, it's
constantly.
still moving. Like it's
Um,
like crazy, and how yeah.
but like, and then there's also the evolution aspect of it, of the animals that have, we can show that the shift in genetics as time goes on.
Yeah.
You can show that there's a reason that penguins and seals and other things that live in cold places are kind of, and the Eskimos too. They have like a
Legend.
larger core, very little extremities, and you
Mhm.
can actually show through the other species. You can show like a shift, and this is how that specific bird got to that specific trait,
Mhm.
and you can show this
Yeah.
is how that specific seal got
Environment.
that specific trait.
Yeah.
The same dogs that we have today are
Adaptation.
came from the same as
Like
seals,
wolves and
the
stuff like
same
that.
origin as seals.
Yeah.
And people too. Mammals kind of exist that way. And when you
Mhm.
do your research, it's actually like, this is not only confirmed, this is majorly confirmed. And to
Mhm.
dismiss it is to
For
blindly go,
all
none of this.
species too.
Right.
For literally all species. Like for like birds and like
Yeah.
different types of lizards and stuff, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like over the years, like as climate changes in different areas and as animals are brought to different continents,
Yeah.
new species are formed based off just natural selection and adaptation to the new environments, and whole new species are formed off parent species from way long ago that
Yeah.
have traveled over the world. Like you know what I mean? It's just the
Yeah.
adaptation
It's
and
proven.
natural selection of like, you know?
Mhm.
Like
And it seems like that's like such a weird concept, because it is a weird concept if you're thinking about it on everything on equal level.
Yeah.
But like, it's not just a weird concept, it's one that we can have evidence for, and we can show that it's a weird concept, and it's also true for these reasons. Whereas the biblical explanation is like, this is what happened, just take it on that. And that's kind of where I'm like, well, when I compare it that way, I'm like, okay, well, that's why this weird story is the better weird story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
Yeah.
more than just a story. It's actually like evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's evidence for the truth of it.
Yeah, I always thought it was so crazy that there's supposed to be like separation of church and state, but like
Yeah.
church still affects so much of like stuff in our
Yeah.
school. Like in school, like I remember when we were taught evolution, like there was a paper sent home to all the parents letting know that we're going to be learning evolution. If you don't want your kid to learn this, like say so on this paper, and your kid doesn't have to be in the class to learn this part
Right.
of because of religious
Wow.
belief. And I'm like, it's so crazy that that's even an option.
Yeah, it is weird because
we're
this is the only
also
one they have
taught
evidence for.
because it's not an option to be for kids to not be taught about other religions, like because you're taught about about a bunch of different religions when
Yeah,
you're
world religions, and you could talk about it then.
and that's not an optional thing for your kid to learn. Why is it an
Yeah.
optional thing for your kid to learn about
Evolution?
scientific hard?
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to
No.
what we have evidence for, there's no good claim to say that creationism is even close. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you want them to learn creationism, teach them at home, teach them in their own religious
Yeah.
classes, or teach that, or
And then tell
or
them
let
that
them
you
learn
will
it
be taught
in
something else
class when they're
school,
learning about world
but
religions.
this is what we believe, and but like, you know what I mean. That's what my parents did. Like my grandparents too. Like, just know, like when you're going to school, like, you're gonna be taught evolution, but that's not how it was.
But that's wild.
God created the world, and like that's what my parents and my grandparents and everything told me growing up. Like, you're gonna be taught that in school, but don't listen to them. That's not true. And I'm like, okay.
But like at the time, you didn't think that, right? At the time, you were like, okay, I believe it.
I was like, yeah, this makes so much sense based on all this hard factual evidence. Like, yeah, this makes complete sense.
I just take it on face value.
Way more like I would much more take that at face value than saying like, yeah, like one day God decided he wanted to make people in the whole universe and it happened. What?
It's actually not. It's honestly not hard to accept because it's the only explanation we were given at a time.
Yeah,
if you think about it, you went to.
I always thought it was weird though. I was like.
If you think about it this way,
right.
If you start school at 5 years old, that means that for about 3 years you've been going to church. If you went to church as a baby. Yeah. So that means you were taught for 3 years that the world is built this specific way. Yep. And then in school, we just assume that you'll either grow out of it or accept it as truth forever. When actually the reality is that we only have evidence for one of them. Mm-hmm. And okay, is it bad to talk to Christians about this stuff? Like people who are hardcore, that live their whole lives like this, who have grown kids?
I don't talk about evolution with my mom or my mom's family because they are very religious. Like certain topic, like the normal Christian topics that Christians don't like, I don't talk about those topics around my mom. Yeah, because
neither do I.
I already know what they're going to say, and I don't want to try to argue my point because I know they're not going to change their mind, and I'm not going to change.
And it's not the time. You know, it's never the time when you're just hanging out with them. You know, they're never like, I'm in a mood to talk about the basics of reality itself. No one's ever really in that mode.
Yeah, like same thing like with politics, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, we're just
it's the same thing. We're not in that mode. Like we're not in that mindset.
Yeah, like some families actually can talk about politics, but most families do have a rule to just like not talk about politics at family gatherings. Like a lot of families have that general rule.
That's why I'm trying to.
Family definitely is a rule, but
same with my mom's family.
A rule in my household though. Like I want everyone to feel like we can have a civil conversation and not get mad at each other.
Yeah, and it's like
have different opinions.
I think that there's a time and a place for things. I think that funerals are the time that you do not talk about anything serious. You keep it nice. You keep it light, and we all know what this is. And I think that even get-togethers are like, we're trying to have fun as a family once a year. That's like a specific thing. But there's a lot of downtime in between those events that you can actually have these conversations that we just don't. And then because we don't, when we get to the family gatherings, it's like, well, here's a really interesting thing about society, and I want to bring it up. But then it becomes an argument because no one's prepared, and no one has really thought about it enough to develop a good enough reason to actually be able to hold a conversation about it.
Yep.
And you get emotional, and when you get emotional, then you stop thinking very rationally. Mm-hmm. At least that's what I get. And I think I've seen that in a lot of people, and I'm just like, I'm trying to challenge that with the kind of this podcast.
No, yeah. No, like, see, like, I'm one of those people, like, some people genuinely can't have a conversation with someone who shared a different opinion.
Yeah. Like we disagree on transgenderism, but that's...
but because you can keep cool and have a conversation with someone who has a different opinion without like raising your voice or getting heated or getting like, you know what I mean, like how people do. Like it's easy, like it's easier for me to talk to about it too. Like I love talking.
It's nervous. It's still nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's still nerve-wracking because like, but it's not. It doesn't feel as attacked like on either way. Because some people when they're only like, you know, like they start.
I'm on my side and I'm not going to change my mind.
Yeah, and
they kind of feel like
they start turning like hateful about it and start getting heated and can't keep a calm demeanor about themselves when they disagree about something. And like that's when I don't like to have conversations about it.
And that's when you shouldn't. That's really not even a conversation anymore.
Yeah, because it's one-sided and it's just like there's no level of understanding and putting oneself in the other's shoes type of thing. Like, you know,
if you don't start with love, then this conversation's never going to work.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm not gonna blow up on you. You need to show me the same respect, like even if we have a different opinion. You know,
I think that seems the fear. That seems the fear nowadays. And we're at an hour and 30, so I think we'll end it in just a minute. But like,
oh yeah, I forgot
to finish on this, I would say I know it's just nice to talk with you.
I know I miss talking to you.
It's like I'm afraid that this is going to become an event, and honestly, so I'm not even going to risk having the conversation. You know what I mean?
No,
and that's the general sense. And you certainly don't want to have an event with someone you don't know that well, because then they have no shame in taking it and posting it.
Exactly.
And then your life gets ruined, and really it was just a low point for you probably if you're the one that blew up.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like when I lived here with my family originally before I moved away, that's how I felt. And I had trained myself to bite my tongue all the time, knowing because my beliefs are so far different from the rest of my immediate family that I was with, that I just learned to bite my tongue and not have those conversations. And I waited to be in a space with people who shared similar like opinions and could have the same mindset about me, about the same things, like, and like to have those conversations and be able to talk about these things. And like now, since when I moved to the city, I found those people, and I found those people who I could talk
who you agreed with,
who I agree with, and who I could actually talk these topics out with, and like get new.
It felt more real. It feels more real when you talk to someone who agrees with you.
Yeah,
you know? It's like validating.
Yeah, because you know, like it's like I didn't feel like attacked for my opinion.
You don't
like,
feel alone, right?
Like, you know what I mean?
and especially with something like sexuality, it's really easy to make a case for letting everything be free. And especially it's really easy to make a case where yes, you do have to do some soul searching, but here's why you're wrong about the sexuality thing. And
it's
a
like,
lot of and people are just
the sexuality thing. It just kind of comes down to, it's like, who are you to tell someone else who or what they can or cannot love?
It's not even a long shot. What are you even saying, that they don't actually love the person that they're telling you that they love? Of course they do. It's not even a problem. Why is it a problem for anyone?
Yeah, like
let them love.
Men and women, like all men and women love other men and women. Like husbands love their brothers. They love their fathers. They love these men, but they just not. But the sexual aspect isn't there, so it's not weird. You still can love another man,
right?
You know what I mean?
A man and exactly.
Like,
if two women and a man or woman can all share the same type of best friendship, and we all accept that yes, friendship, they can have exactly the same thing, those three different groups, then of course the sexuality aspect is exactly the same. It's exactly the same.
Don't even have sex. They're asexual people who get together and get married and don't even have a sex life. They don't have sex at all.
Yeah.
That's not even part of their relationship.
As far as I'm concerned, asexuality is just basically your libido is zero, and that's not even a problem. Some people are just that way.
And it's like, and sex doesn't define a relationship or love or marriage. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like, about the union of the two people.
Yeah, it's about, it's not a, like, relationship isn't about sex or marriage. It's not defined by the sex.
And because that's so obvious to you and so obvious to me, but it's not obvious to them, there's this wall in between you where it's like, I cannot share a part of my life with you because you're being ridiculous. And that's really what the answer is. You're being ignorant and you're not allowing yourself to think about the situation.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and like, even just like watching like my dad's video with you too, like how he's saying, he's
a good guy. He's a good man.
He's very good.
And so is my dad.
Like, just that topic specifically makes me very sad sometimes.
Yes.
Just because I know that if I see myself marrying a man. I see myself that's just how I see myself going to the things I want in my life. But I never took marrying a woman off the table for me. Right. And it makes me really sad that if I would have found the love of my life in a woman in the last 3 years in San Francisco, it makes me really sad that my dad wouldn't have supported that, and that he wouldn't have been happy for me marrying a woman, and that he wouldn't have would support me being a woman. Like, because like I would have wanted him wife, but I know he probably wouldn't do that, and that makes me really sad. Because and like, you know what I mean, like, because I know he just wouldn't support.
And I
like,
know it's a tense situation,
like,
but
you know,
because
like,
of this
like,
this podcast, it's even if you had found that person and you were about to be married, I would have talked to him. Even if you had asked me, or even if you hadn't asked me, I would have talked to him and said the same thing that I said today.
And if my dad would have said no, I'd have my brother walk me down the aisle, because I know he would.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And when it comes to having that opinion and either, let's just go with gay and a gay daughter. Because if you married a woman, essentially you're gay from that point on. It's you know, you're just a lesbian.
I don't see, like, I don't even consider myself that, because that's what my family thinks about. That's kind of what my family's opinion is about me now. Like, I'm dating a boy, and I'm probably gonna marry a man, and so they
but
think,
she's
like,
gay.
oh, so she's not, so she's just straight now. She's just like, going through a phase. I'm like, no, I'm very much still attracted to women. Yeah. I'm very attracted to women.
That's not. There's no shame in that either. There's no shame in that.
You know what I mean? Like that doesn't, just because I'm with a man now doesn't mean I'm still not queer. I'm still very much a queer woman, and I'm still very much attracted to a woman, and like a woman still. But like,
exactly.
I'm not, like,
every straight man should understand, but for some reason they get it in their head that it's bad, and then people like your dad, who should be super positive when it comes to gays, aren't. And you ask why, and it's because of,
by a gay man. His wedding was officiated by a gay man, and he's very good friends.
Really? Is that even possible?
Right?
Why did he vote against gay marriage if he was that? What the hell?
He's literally very good friends with him, and it's Michelle. It's one of Michelle's very good friends, and his wedding was officiated by a gay man, and I'm just like,
how? I love he's a good man. He's a good man, I promise. I love him to death.
I love my father.
I know.
He does have some very interesting opinions that I don't agree with.
I'm so afraid of calling someone ignorant, because I know what it's like to be called ignorant when you're not. Yeah. But like, at the same time, there are ignorant people, and this is an instance of ignorance, of actual ignorance. You are not being truthful to the situation.
And I've just come to accept that what the situation is, and I've just come to accept that this is how my father is, and I love him anyways, and I just know that this is how he is, and this is how our relationship's gonna be, and that's just how his opinion is, and I know that it's not gonna change, and I've just come to accept that. And be okay with it.
But if I convinced him, that would be a good positive change, right?
Yeah.
I will talk to him, and I promise you.
Jeremy talks to him sometimes about it. Jeremy vouches for me. He defends me.
Good.
But like, it tries to talk to my dad, because Jeremy listens to men, tends to listen to what men have to say more.
Yeah. Good.
But
good. Jeremy is the guy. Jeremy's the guy.
Yeah. I love my brother.
I love him too.
Honestly, I would have him. I would almost have my brother walk me down the aisle if I married a man too.
Yeah, well, do it.
I don't know, or my brother and my dad. I'd honestly have both of them.
That's a good idea. I like that. I think the left and right arm is probably best for our family. But I mean, it's your wedding, so you'll decide when the day comes. But like, I like the idea of you doing both.
I think I would have my brother and my dad, because my brother's been like. Because, like, you know, like,
he's been there.
The other most important man in my life, who's helped me grow, who I've grown up with. You know what I mean?
It's good to have a solid person that you can lean on when you want to lean on them.
Yeah.
This is actually something I'm sending Sammy, the car that I whittled.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I already have the message on the bottom to her, so.
Yeah, now that we're closer that I physically live closer to Jeremy, we hang out a lot more now, and it's so nice. We're so close. I love him to death. He's literally my number one favorite person on this planet. He really is. I just love him to death.
Okay, so we're at the end right now. Let's do 10 things we're grateful for, and then we'll end the podcast. And don't hang up, but I'll end it when we're
okay.
And then I'll hang up afterward.
Okay, sounds good.
So you want to start, or you want me to start?
You go first, because I need time to think of 10.
So I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for my dog. I'm thankful for the podcast. It's been very nice for me, and I feel like connecting with my family on this way is something that I didn't expect that I would be able to do. But it's been very nice to really do something different with my family involved.
It's interesting as a family member to also watch you interact, watch
'Cause
everybody talk about these other things too, and
just to be real, like this is my attempt to like, because it's kind of stressful. So I'm trying to handle the stress of the situation in individually and the situation societally. And I don't know what to do, but this feels like the right answer. And this feels like something that I can do sane. And if someone says, hey, you've gone too far in this sense, they can go, hey, you've gone too far in this sense. And that can help me, because I don't want to do this alone. I don't want to be like, and I know that everyone is basically having the same thoughts, but not. I feel
like we're all learning a lot about each other from these podcasts. Right. The family members who actually watch them, I feel like we learn a lot about each other even just from watching these.
It's really interesting, and it's like, and they probably get way too much of me, but still.
Okay. The mediator. You're the mediator.
Yeah, I'll try to be as rational as I can, but I don't know but I'm not perfect, and that's why I need you guys to have the conversations with me, so I can be a little bit better than I would be alone. Yeah. You know? Yeah. That was 3. I am thankful for the record player that we just bought, and I got Hendrix, and I got Bob Dylan, and I got jazz interpretations of a jazz band that went to Japan. So they went to Japan as a band, just experienced culture, and then made jazz soundtracks to it.
Oh, sick.
And it's like 12 different tracks, and they are all so fucking good. I can't wait. If you ever come, please come so I can show you the jazz record.
Yes, I will. I want to bring one. I have a record, and I've been wanting to play it. I've never gotten to play it because I don't have a record.
I have a record player, so if you're in town,
I will bring the record, and I'll come over.
That was 4. We got that today, and it has been awesome. We got high, we listened to music, and it was fantastic. 4, 5. 5 is, I am thankful, even still, that I had a job all through COVID that I still have that pays well. That pays well enough for us to live comfortably. Preach. Yeah, Preach. So I don't take it seriously enough, and I need to take it more seriously. But, and I take it seriously enough, but like I could take it more seriously. Even despite that, I'm glad I have it, and I'm thankful for it. Mm-hmm. I'm thankful for... I got some new shoes recently that I very much like, that are actually more like boot style, and they're like brown, and I actually am trying to branch out from wearing Vans, because I feel like I'm more of a pleather boot guy now.
There you go.
And I don't really take a lot of like notice on my own fashion usually, but like I like the brown boots. It goes with whatever I'm wearing usually too, and I actually like the boots themselves. Brown boots and khaki or kind of brown pants. Yeah. I'm really into that right now.
There you go. It's a look.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for that, because I really do enjoy that, and I don't usually enjoy fashion. Mm-hmm. I am thankful for my recent consistency in washing dishes. The kitchen has been clean for like 2 weeks now, sure. And that's really hard. I am fucking so lazy. And I'm like, come on, man, come on.
Number 1 most hated dishes in my entire life is the fucking dishes. I hate doing the dishes.
I know, and I feel so bad, and I keep doing it to myself. So I'm like, I've been really consistent the past 2 weeks, and I'm trying to keep it up.
That's good.
Dishes stay washed, and clean the counters when they're dirty, or at least when I can.
Yeah.
And I've been doing that. That's been really nice. So 4 more. Thankful for coffee and caffeine in general. I usually have like a rock star in the morning, and then maybe a coffee if I do a podcast. Mm-hmm. That's been lovely. I'm thankful for this computer, which is fast enough that this the buffering that from the video stuff actually works really well, and the games that I play are really fun. So as an entertainment system and as a hobby system, it's been very nice. 2 more, I think. Yes. I'm thankful for the puzzle clock that I just put together, and it's like it's laser cut wood, and you have to assemble it yourself, and it is a working clock.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, and you can see all the pieces move, because it's really cool. I'll send you a video of it later.
Oh yeah,
I'm very thankful for that, because that was really fun, and I even decided to stain it before I put it together. So it came, so it's actually brown and red now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, brown and redwood.
What a vibe.
And I think I have 1 more. I am thankful for... What's 1 more thing? I'm thankful the car outside that's been sitting there for a while, that's ours, started up when I replaced the battery.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, I was worried about it. Piper was worried about it, but the car's good to go. Now we just got to sell the other one, and then we'll have my Subaru, the Accord, and it'll just be those two. We won't have Piper's Hyundai.
There you go. Yeah, might as well get some cash for that one. Extra cash for that one.
All right. So 10 from you, and then we'll finish up the podcast.
Okay. Number 1, my health, because I was just sick, throwing up for the last 2 weeks and dying, and it was freaking terrible. So, and I feel so much better. And so health.
Lovely.
Number
I know. Last week you didn't
and
sound
the fact
very nice.
that I haven't gotten COVID, that I never got COVID this whole time.
Oof.
And I'm
I'll load off.
Number 2, I'm gonna say I'm getting my vaccine on Friday, so I'm thankful for that. Finally, just trying to get it out of the way. And then I'm thankful for my mans who's sitting out there.
Nice.
Waiting so nicely.
Being supportive. Doing as they do.
Love of my life. Thankful for my family who've been supporting my move and my whole upheaval of my entire life.
Yeah, it's a big shift.
With me letting me crash in their houses and take care of my dog.
If you need a week here in Monterey, you got it.
Oh, honey, I will take it. I'm thankful for my new car that I got just before I had moved. It is my first real adult car that I would consider. I got it from a dealership, but it was like my first time doing like a real nice car that's not as old as I am. You know, it's like a 2014, and all my
That's
other
a good
cars
feeling.
at least 2000. The newest car I had prior was a 2001, and I was born in 99.
Wow.
So
that was my first car.
As old as I am, and
yeah, I had a Saturn, and it was 2001.
My new car.
Yeah.
Thankful for also being blessed enough to have an amazing job all throughout pandemic and to not miss a paycheck once the whole time. So, and I was very blessed and to still have that job now, and even after I have moved, and they're being super, super great with my transitioning out of teaching there. And so super grateful for my job. And that was number 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And number 7, thankful for my dog, because even though I miss her, I miss her so much. I've been away from her for like a month. I take care of her. I pick her up sometimes. I miss her so much.
It'll be nice to be with her.
I'm thankful for my nephew. He's like just a new light in my life, and he means the world to me. And I have nephew number 2 coming in here in a couple months.
So many young people, yes.
Being an auntie, and it's just like being an aunt has been just such a fucking joy. I love being an aunt,
and not only that, but training for when eventually you have kids. You know, you'll actually have this experience.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my job is already taken care of.
Oh, good point. You are
1-year-olds at a time, anyways. That's already my job. So I'm pretty ready. Thankful for. What else? I have 2 more things.
This is 9, right?
I have 2 more.
Okay.
8, 9. That was 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 9, 10. So
okay.
Yeah, number 9. Thankful for what? Thankful for.
I love the challenge. It's a good one, right?
No.
It's like it makes you think about the positives.
Yeah, you're so right. I'm thankful for Oh yeah, all my friends. I'm thankful for my life that I had in San Francisco, and I'm thankful that
the relationships you got.
Yeah, that it worked out better than I could have ever possibly imagined in my wildest dreams before I had moved there. Like and like just all the people and the experiences I had there. Very thankful for the whole life I had built for myself and made for myself in the city. Yeah. Number 10, thankful for I don't know, for just being alive, smart. Honestly.
All right. I love it.
Alive and like being like a strong, independent woman in the times that we live in, you know what I mean? And still doing me despite all the shit that's happening in my personal life, in the world in general. Like, you know, like I'm just thankful that I'm staying true to myself and not like letting the world and all these negatives get to me, because it's a lot for everybody.
And being okay with
now.
change,
It's a lot.
being okay with change.
Being fluid, thankful that I am fluid enough to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
I'm really happy for you. And thank you so much again for being on the podcast. And I hope that eventually you'll do it again, maybe.
Oh, I would love to. I love doing these. It's always fun to talk to you, Love Muffin.
I remember that, yeah. I'm going to end it, but don't hang up.
Okay.
All right, later.